What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Oh my gosh. Can you believe it? She's got her own podcast now. Oh, yes. Cash Talks is here, and I am so excited to be taking on this next big project. I have been planning this for the last few months. It's been something that has just been on my mind, and I've just felt like there was a need for the cash world to bring into a little podcast action. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. So I'm here at Dude IDK Studios, and we are getting it started today. I just wanted to kind of start today off with an intro just to kind of explain a little bit about what Cash Talks is going to be, explain kind of what the direction is and where we're going to be going. Because for some of you, this might be your very first time getting to know me. For others, you've been in the Cash crew rocking with me for the last 4 years. So with that being said, to my loyal people, to the ones who ride with me all the time, that always are ready for the next adventure, thank you, thank you, thank you. Things like this are truly not even possible, or things that I could even imagine, without all the love and support that you all continue to give. So I want to just say that right off the bat. Thank you to my cast crew for riding hard with me. But today I just wanted to kind of start off with a little intro about me and kind of get you into the flow of who I am, in case for some listeners, this might be your first time getting to know me. So I promise you, after these first couple episodes, you're going to be hooked, because who doesn't need some more cash in their life? Speaking of which, that's me. I'm going to be your host on this crazy journey that we're going to go on. I'm Samora Kash, one of your local Denver local drag queens here, local superstars, if you will. But I have been doing drag for the last 4 years and really just dove very deep headfirst into the whole world of something that I really just didn't have an idea of what I was getting myself into. Performing, getting into just any kind of art form has been a part of me since I literally can remember. From a young age, I grew up in Knoxville, Tennessee, so I'm a Southern born and raised queen over here. But just from a young age, I started performing. I think I tell everyone I walked out of my mother's womb with a pair of high heels on, honey, okay? And so I tell people, from ever since I can remember, I've been performing in some way. I mean, my cousin Taylor and I, we used to put on drag shows in our own way, okay? Not full on drag, but you know what I mean. A little bit of performance style. We would get dressed up and, perform Shania Twain with a hairbrush for our family. So there's just really been this whole sense of performance around my whole life since I very first, came to existence. So with that being said, I just thought, as my life continued on, I wanted to, get into music and get into things that were important to me along the way. So I was in theater in school. I grew up doing talent shows. What else have I done? I've even auditioned for American Idol twice before. I know, crazy, right? But that was in the days when American Idol was, like into the vibes, before they went on to have 20 seasons like RuPaul's Drag Race is about to have. But with that being said, I just have enjoyed being on stage my entire life. I can remember going into elementary school and just getting those like bigger lead roles that were like, okay, so Cam, whoever wants to perform, and I took that on. I really wanted to just perform in my own way and kind of just make a lane for myself from a very young age. So I can remember being in school talent shows, musicals, you name it, I was on stage doing something. So for all of this to kind of come to be and kind of be a full circle moment is really big to me. And I think that I have a lot to offer, a lot to say, a lot to give to you all as an audience who might be listening. So I just kind of want to take you on this journey with me. But I do today, speaking of things being birthed and newborns, I know that when this episode comes out that it will be past her birthday, but today is my queen, my mother, Missy. It is her 49th birthday today. She's getting up there close to the 50. She'll probably hate me for saying that, but I'm telling her. But it's her birthday today, so I think in such a crazy way, like things come in full circle, and I truly believe in the way that things unfold, and how cool that I'm starting this project today, birthing it for all of you on the day that my mother was born. So shout out, happy birthday to my mom all the way in Knoxville, Tennessee. If you see her, if you know her, go down to her salon, Marble City Salon, downtown Knoxville, and give her some love, give her some extra energy, even post birthday. She works hard. She's always out there doing something, making people look gorgeous. She owns her own salon. So if you're one of her clients or just someone that knows her, give her some extra love. That was my shameless plug for my big mama today. So, but yeah, I, I kind of want to get into, I guess, what Cash Talks is going to be about. So, first of all, we're going to have these little cue cards that I had made myself. And not only is it going to be a little bit just about me and my journey and how I've gotten to where I've gotten to, it's also going to be a lot of bringing in special guests. I think when you hear the intro originally from when this kind of comes out, it talks about entrepreneurship, life, relationships, drag. The topics of which we're going to cover are just so broad. I have met so many people over the last 4 years being in this industry, people that have truly touched my life. I mean, when I think about the people that come to my shows, that message me regularly, that, just look to me for advice in any shape or form, the it's so broad. There's no real direction of who those people are. So I'm really hoping that I can take what I've been able to do on stage and kind of sit down and bring it down a level and get real on some topics. Life is heavy. We all face a lot of different things, a lot of different demons and just energies and people around us that we sometimes don't always know how to navigate. But I think that I've been given a voice along the way to, spread love, spread joy, to open up to stories that I think are truly important. So with that being said, I mean, life itself, we all go through so many different scenarios. For me personally, over the last 4 years, I have gone through a divorce. I've gone through relationship struggles. I've gone through friendship struggles. I've gone through a change of career. I mean, for some of you, obviously, who know me, know that I was a flight attendant for 6 years. Some of you who are just getting to know me just found that out. So, yeah, this whole journey has been a interesting one. And I truly kind of left a industry that I at one point or another thought that this would kind of be what I would do forever. I thought that, working in the corporate world and being so focused on, working for a company and being good at my job, I really do feel like that was something that I was good at. But there was always something there that just I wasn't fully fulfilled. I wanted to be able to go on a journey of my own. I mean, like I said, performing has been a part of me since I can remember, right? But all while working and doing these other jobs just to kind of make ends meet, I felt this void, and I was like, what is this that I want? What is it that I truly want out of this life? I think that the only time I've ever truly felt alive and felt like I was just almost like superhuman has been the times that I've been on stage. And so when I kind of came to that decision, being a flight attendant, I was like, I really want to chase after this. Like, you ever had someone, or maybe you have kids or someone in your life who's just kind of a little bit like they're always nagging. They're like this little fly on your shoulder or something that's always there. Like that's how I felt when I was working, whether it be in retail or being a flight attendant, whatever I was doing at the time. It felt like there was this like something there that was like, this isn't it. This isn't it. And I couldn't figure out or find out how to kind of make that manifest itself. So I continued to do these jobs and continued to work really hard at them because I pride myself on my work ethic and I would never half-ass anything. I think that that's like the biggest thing to say about me as well. But I just felt like I needed to be on stage somehow. And so I went through this whole process of kind of figuring out what that looked like. And there was a very tough situation that happened at the airline that I was working with and kind of got stuck in a situation that was not great on their part, and the way that they chose to kind of ultimately treat me in a situation that they needed me as a drag queen to come and do things for them. And so trust me, we'll get into a lot of things as the episodes go on. But it was in that moment after going through what I felt like I had kind of been used and betrayed and almost like everything that I had put into this career, this job that I was doing, it just all kind of broke. Like it fell apart. And it was in that moment that I had to look at myself and I had to be like, what do you want? What is it that you want out of your life? What is it that you want out of your career? So many of us get stuck in situations where we're just trying to do what our parents want us to do. We want to do what our significant others want us to do, but never, ever do we take time sometimes to just say, what is it that I want? So in those moments, and especially in my personal moment, that was where, I kind of had this birth of, I had seen drag, I had seen performers since I was 18 years old growing up in Knoxville. And I had seen all of these, what seemed like superheroes to me watching on stage. And I felt that connection. I felt that energy towards something that I really didn't know much about. And so as I continued to kind of study drag a little bit more and understand kind of what it was, I decided myself, like, let's jump in, let's dive in. And so then obviously we've all gone through the pandemic, am I right? And whew, that was a challenge of a time. I will say though, in my personal and just truthful opinion, the pandemic was either something that really changed you for the better, or it was something that really, really kind of cut you deep. And for me, it was honestly a mixture of both. I really started to get to know myself a lot more during that time. I started to kind of understand who I was and what I wanted out of life. And I kind of birthed this whole drag persona during the pandemic. So my friend Brian and I, my DJ Brian X in Chicago, I love you. We kind of sat down along with my friend Laquan, that I also have a song with called Jump In with Black Maserati, also my friend Laquan. We all kind of like were teaming up together, and I was like, I really want to start drag, but like, I don't understand, like, how do I come up with like a good name? How do I come up with what I want out of this to like market and brand myself and that sort of thing? And we kind of all joined forces together. I don't even know if Laquan and Brian know this, but we all kind of were like texting, not in a group, but like separate, and trying to like navigate this. And for me, I kind of wanted this like, this 4-letter last name that just stood out. Like, what could I do with a 4-letter last name and like brand that? So then I was like, Kash. But then also at the same time, I was like, I don't want to spell it with a C. I want to give it like its Kardashian flair. I want to give it's like just something different that makes it stand out. So that's kind of where that sort of thing stood out from. And so then I was like, okay, we have Kash. What do we do with it? Where's the pun? How do we like figure out, what the name is that we go with? The first name, of course. So then I was like, teaming up with my friends, like I said, and finally we kind of came across Samora. And For those of you who are just now sitting there or listening on the subway in New York City or wherever you are, I have friends everywhere. Wherever you're listening to this right now and you're just now getting my name pun, you're welcome. Okay. Yes, Samora Kash came because we were like, some more cash. Like, who doesn't need some more cash? And of course, now you're getting some more of me, right? So, Samora Kash was birthed literally during the pandemic. I started in my closet. I always laugh when I go back and kind of look at those photos and remember myself of like what I was doing, because I literally had zero idea of what I was doing. But I was like, you know what? We're going to figure this out together. Um, but I had also during that time met another flight attendant who I got to know really well, and who is also a drag performer in the New Jersey, New York market, Coconut Wada, who is my official drag mother, who kind of took me in and was like, hey, listen, if you fly to New York City and you come stay with my partner and I, I will teach you the basics. I'll teach you how to stone. I'll teach you how to pad yourself. I'll teach you the basics of makeup, and just kind of give you the basics of maybe what you need to know. And you don't need to take my name. You just take it and you make a name for yourself. And so I flew out to New York City again, kind of pandemic times, and stayed with her. And, she taught me a lot. Not only is Coco just a light force, and full of love, but also someone who just really didn't see it as something to gain, but almost to see something in me that she knew that I could take forward and do. So I flew out, I stayed. Like I said, we went over the basics. I remember she made me close my eyes and wouldn't let me look at like my drag body, right? My padded body. And so she made me keep my eyes closed. And I remember when I opened up my eyes and like saw Samora for the first time, it was like an out of body experience. Clearly, because I'm not in my body, right? But it was truly just such an out of body experience. And I remember that moment just feeling so at home in myself. I felt like I was looking in the mirror of someone that almost I knew had lived inside me, for as long as I can remember. But then there was a name to it. There was a face, there was makeup, there was all these things that we put behind it. And then after seeing kind of Samora come to life for the first time, she was like, pick a song. And I was like, okay. And I remember I was like, it was kind of in the moment of Rain on Me with Ariana and Lady Gaga. And it was kind of in that chapter when that song had just come out. And I remember she was like, okay, we're going to put it on. Just start performing. And I was like, okay, I guess that's what we're doing. So I literally started performing. I didn't know what I actually go back a lot of times and I look at that video and I look at someone who was so shy, so timid, so unsure of what they were stepping their heels into, honestly. But there was something about her just saying, turn the camera on and go, and I think that that's been such a big part of who I am a lot of times, is like, sometimes you just got to quiet the noise and just turn on the camera and press record, and so many times we get lost in, what is someone going to say? What am I going to look like? What am I like? Why do I look like that? Why am I performing like that? Why do I look like I don't know what I'm doing? But we all start somewhere. We all start with a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? And for me, the beginning has been such a important part of my growth and an important part of just who I am as a person. So to remember that video and to just know that I that Coco gave me a chance, right? And saw something in me that clearly I didn't see in myself yet at the time. And so I remember after going through that whole experience and being in New York City, which how iconic that I got to go fly to New York City to like learn how to do drag, right? And I flew home, and then she was like, you need to really team up with a local drag artist to kind of like get your name out there, see like what you can do, if you can get out to performing, etc. And so I flew back home, got home, started watching YouTube, trying to get better at the art of drag, makeup, etc. And started making my own content, created my Instagram, all the things. And so she was like, you need to reach out to Dixie Crystals. And Dixie is an iconic drag entertainer here in Denver, and someone who gave me so many of my beginning stardom chances and all the things. And we call each other, and we have our first phone call, and she's like, you have something, right? And at this time we hadn't really met in person or anything, but she just felt it. I think Dixie has that energy thing that you can just feel when someone's serious about something. And she told me, she was like, what you need out of this career is to work hard, kind of create your own path, stay out of the drama as best as you can, and do you, whatever that looks like to you. So I remember having that conversation, hanging up with her, and I was like, I'm ready. Like, I don't know what I'm ready for, but I'm ready. And so as soon as things started opening back up and I got my kind of first shot at performing, here, Charlie's here in Denver was actually my very first time performing, and that's where my very first performance was. And at the time, we still had to wear the clear mask over our face. I had like a fishnet to carry around because I couldn't touch people's money. I have the photo hanging up of where I do my makeup every day. And when I look at it, it still cracks me up because I'm like, here I am with this busted Lady Gaga wannabe wig and like this like fishnet and this clear mask. It's hilarious, but it's a reminder kind of where I started. And so that was kind of my very first performance. And after that, you ever have that moment in your life where you're like, you do something for the first time and you're like, this is it. This is exactly where I'm meant to be. This is like where my feet are meant to land. Like this is what I want to do. And after I got done performing that day, that was where I was at. I had this fuel and this fire inside of me that I was like, I'm going to stop at nothing to be Samora Kash and be this electric entertainer, this high energy entertainer. And I'm going to take this as far as I can to the ends of the earth and back. And I remember just kind of leaving with this, like, I knew I had a lot to learn. I knew I had a lot to figure out, especially as someone who is starting out in an industry that's so oversaturated and so full of people that have been doing this way longer than me and have been like seeking out their own ways to make a name for themselves. But I always held true to what Dixie told me in that first conversation of stay out of the drama, work hard, do the things that make you stand out, all those things. And on top of just all the various conversations I had had with other people. And I did that from the jump. It was my time. It was what I felt like I needed and what I wanted for me. And so I say that to say, like, the pandemic honestly was one of the best things that ever happened to me because I truly felt like I found myself all over again. And as I continued to find myself, and I think part of doing Cash Talks and this podcast is not only going to be healing for a lot of people listening, but I think it's also going to be healing for me, to hear what I am kind of saying, on a mic in front of a camera, but to also be like, wow, like you really have gone so far already in just this amount of time. And so I hope that like through this, that I'm not only like, impacting anyone who decides to listen and tune in, but to myself who has journeyed through literally hell and back. And like I said, these podcasts are going to get deep sometimes. They're going to get heavy sometimes. They're also going to be funny and full of laughter and moments that are going to make you be like, what the fuck? But with all that, I think it's just a part of who I am. I think it's important for us to be vulnerable. I think it's important for us to showcase who we are. Sometimes you're gonna get me as Samora. Sometimes you're gonna get me out of drag. Like, I think it's important to see the person behind the makeup. So many times, I think in drag we get lost behind. We have to be this like cunty bitch, this person that like, has to be this persona all the time. And we don't always tap into the person who makes all this come forward, right? And so if you're listening and those who don't know me, my name out of drag is Cameron. Most of my friends call me Cam. So if you call me Cam, that means we're real friends. Okay. But with that being said, I think it's so important for me to be as vulnerable and honest and open and real with you all as I can, because I don't think true healing from anything comes from, let me just put on a face of makeup and a wig and a cute outfit and hope that I sell this to you. No, like, I think that it really comes from getting down to the nitty gritty, to understanding where I come from, who I am, the journeys and the circumstances that I've faced along the way to kind of get to where I'm at. And that's what's so important about bringing on these special guests that I have lined up, is some of them have stories that it gives me I'm like, I get chills thinking about it, because I can already hear their voices like next to me talking about the things that they've journeyed through and the things that they're facing now. But also, some of them are the most beautiful human beings that I've ever met in my life. And I think that's because of the things that they've gone through and journeyed through. And it's important for me to showcase them. And also, I am biracial. My mom is white. My dad is black. So that's been its own journey in itself. Me, living in a world where sometimes, I'm not black enough for my black friends, or I'm not white enough to be in like, the white group of people. I've landed in this middle ground for as long as I can remember, and it's been a challenge. It's been an honest, truthful challenge of my life, and a lot of people, and I think something we don't talk about enough is being biracial, and growing up in that world. It is a struggle. I don't ever claim to have the same struggles as my black friends. I don't ever claim to have the same struggles as my friends of color. But what I do claim to know is I have my own unique journey in landing in a world that's somewhere in between. And so I hope that, just in the time that we get to share on these podcasts together, and we get to talk about, what life is about and the things that we face and journey through, I think it's just going to be full of knowledge and full of just moments where we truly get to share and get deep with each other on important topics. And I want to bring on like local entertainers here in Denver, and not only like, is it just drag? It's, there are so many amazing female DJs in this city. There are female entrepreneurs. There are people in the fitness industry, people in the music industry. There are so many people that I have met and that I've had the privilege of getting to know. And they're walking in their own journeys. They're walking in their worlds of what they've created. And so that's what I wanted to be able to create with this podcast, is it's getting to know, what does it take to, be your own boss? What does it take to slay in your lane? What does it take to manifest the dreams that you can only see? I say this so often that sometimes you have to be able to risk everything, to do things when you have no money, to do things when you don't know if you're going to fall flat on your face, to do things when you don't know if you should pay your rent or your car payment. Like, there's so many things that I've risked everything. I mean, leaving a corporate job to chase after a dream is a risk on its own. And I think to hear my story and to hear the people that you're going to hear from along the way, like, that is some of what their stories are, is like, sometimes you have to risk everything you have for a dream only you can see. And we don't say that enough. We don't stress that enough. And I think if there's one thing that I grew up with a single mom, and she raised three of us by herself. And watched her work for everything. I remember her telling us, I've got $5 in my bank account until next week. And I've got, I'm in the red until, we get to next week or whatever. And I remember her like saying that vividly. And we never went without food. We never went without a roof over our head. We never went without clothes. We never went without the necessities that we needed. But sometimes the extra activities were exciting and a reward because we didn't get to do things like that all of the time, like some of the families I was surrounded by growing up. But the one thing I watched my mom do that has been so important to just my brand, who I am, and what I seek to accomplish in this life is, number one, she has a work ethic like no one I've ever met in my entire life. She will work 12, 13 hours a day, still come to your performance in high school, still have dinner on the table, still pick you up and drive you home, and still get up the next day and do it all over again. And I watched how hard she's worked. And up until now, where she's able to own her own salon and do her own thing and live in such a different time now than what it was when we were growing up. And I have been able to watch that, and it has given me strength, and it has given me a vision for how I wanted to live my life. And so many people, especially now, like we live in a world where everyone wants instant gratification. Everyone wants everything to be, given right away. I mean, we've been working on this podcast for, I don't know, 3 months now almost. And so many people want it right away. And they want the things that they want without working hard. And my mom always instilled in me, if you want anything in this life, it's not going to come easy. It's not going to be given to you. And you have to be the only one to go after it. And if you don't chase it, then no one's going to chase it for you. And so I owe everything I have and that I do and that I am because she's given me that, resilience, I think, and that just drive to say, like there's going to be people that don't understand what you're doing. There's going to be people who just don't get it the way you do. And she is a testament to that, even in being a hairstylist. Like you just have to really go after what it is that you see. Like no one has to see it. And I know I've said this already, but no one has to see it but you. No one has to understand it but you. But at the end of the day, if you want these dreams, if you want these goals, if you want to truly manifest, as everyone uses the word these days, you have to be able to tap into that. It's not just something that you're like, I'm going to close my eyes now and hope that I get this. No, it's like putting in the work, staying up late at night, doing the extra side gigs to make extra money. It's all of it. It's every single bit of it. And I've done it all. And I hope that if nothing else, that when you walk away from these episodes, when you get to know me a little bit more, when you get to know my special guest a little more, that you truly walk away and you're like, wow, I feel empowered to do what it is that I want to do. And I always say to all my friends and everyone around me, and I've carried this same message probably since high school, but it's truly the fact that no one's going to stand in my way. You can try to step in front of me. You can try to push me to the side. You can try and bulldoze me if you want. But at the end of the day, I know me, I know what I want, and I know that at the end of the day, no one's going to stand in the way of what I want. And you truly have to be the person to say, I see a vision, I see a goal, and this is for me. And it's not for anyone else. It's not for anyone else to understand. It's for me to get and for me only. So with that being said, I hope that you'll enjoy what's to come. I hope that you will be excited for what Cash Talks is going to be all about. I mean, I just have so many ideas, so many special guests. And if some of you really know me, y'all know I got some good friends and good places. So who knows who might pop up on here. But I am just so honored, so thrilled, so excited to be working with Dude IDK Studios. I mean, this has been such a dream come true, and to kind of watch it come to life. We're finally here recording the first episode, so it's been a dream. I'm so thankful, so honored, and I just want to say to all of you that thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for riding with me. If you've been with me, if you're a new follower, a new, person to get to know Samora Kash, I promise we're probably going to be friends from wherever you're at and wherever I'm at, somewhere along the way. And I look forward to hearing from you through my DMs and through messages and through emails and whatever it is, to even if you have questions that you want to ask, or if you have things that you want to know about me or about a special guest, or just anything in general. I look forward to hearing from you, and you can follow me and find me on all my social media at I am Samora Kash. That's where I do all my social media work. So follow me, find me, and yeah, I look forward to doing this together. It's going to be a great journey. It's going to be something very, very exciting, and I'm just so excited to see what comes next, and I look forward to all that's to come. And again, thank you for listening to Kash Talks.
I told these bitches don't be fake and fuck around with me, but if they do, then they fucking up their destiny. There's always levels to the shit. Wouldn't you agree?